Hey, what's up Aquamigos? Thank you guys so much for joining me today. And if you're new here, my name's Tobias, and I believe we are now on part 6 of the DIY koi pond filter build. And I received a few comments in some of my recent videos that made me realize that I haven't done a great job of explaining how this filter is going to work to people who are just joining us. If you've been watching this series from the beginning, I'm sure you already know how this is going to work and everything, but for people just joining us, I haven't really explained anything. So let me do that right now. So as many of you probably already know, this is going to be pretty much my biological filtration, but to explain how it's all going to work together, I kind of need to go back to the pond over here. If you haven't seen any of the pond build series, pretty much inside this pond in pretty much the middle, we can't see it right now because the water is too murky, but pretty much in the middle of the pond at the bottom, there is a 4-inch bottom drain. I'll try to overlay some footage right here of that bottom drain so you can kind of have an idea for what I'm talking about. And that bottom drain pretty much goes underneath the pond and then it comes straight up right here. So this 4-inch pipe right here is actually connected to the bottom drain at the bottom of that pond. And then over here, you might see that there is a smaller pipe. That is a 2-inch pipe that is connected to the pond skimmer. Now we can barely see the pond skimmer. I don't know if you could see it right there. It's actually under the water right now because the stem is actually not long enough. I need to cut a new pipe to make that stem long enough so the skimmer comes up to the surface of the water. But pretty much that pipe goes under the ground right there, comes through the liner on the other side of that wall, and then comes up to a skimmer. So both of those pipes, I have these gate valves on both of them so I can stop the water flow from both of those pipes, and both of those pipes go into this trash can right here, which is pretty much my DIY settlement tank. So I'll go ahead and open that for you guys so you guys can kind of see what that is. And basically, oh look, there's a fish in there. I should probably fish him out. There's a little rosy red minnow in there. But pretty much those pipes just end up in the settlement tank. The idea is that the settlement tank will kind of end up holding the bigger debris. So if any debris comes through any of those pipes, hopefully the heavier stuff will just sink to the bottom of this settlement tank right here. I might even add some 90-degree angles to those pipes to make sure that they go down, or at least to the side. I'm not really sure yet. You know guys, sometimes those fish, they make their way through the pipes and end up in the settlement tank. So once he pops up again, I'll scoop him out, put him back in the pond. So anyways, I'm just going to leave that for now. I'm going to cover it up, and then I'm going to open up this tote right here. Ouch, I just pinched my finger. So from this tote right here, as you can see, that 4-inch pipe comes from the settlement tank into this tote right here, which will house pretty much the first stage of mechanical filtration. This will also house my pond pump. So this right here is the pond pump, and it can be ran amphibiously, but I am choosing to run it submerged in this tote right here. So let me explain. We're going to have to use our imaginations a little bit for this part. So just imagine on this side of the tote right here, I'm going to have some mechanical filtration, and it's probably going to look something like what we have over here in the pool pond. So just imagine something kind of like what I have here. I have my pond pump in here, and then I have this, I believe they call these Japanese mats. I'm not 100% sure, but probably something like that in the front of this tote over here. So pretty much the water will have to pass through that before it reaches the pump. And then over here, you'll notice that I have this 2-inch pipe coming out of the ground. So pretty much this 2-inch pipe goes underground. It goes all the way underneath all of these trash cans, and then it comes up above the ground again, straight into this trash can, which will be the first stage of this filtration right here. And the way this is going to work is that I'm going to drill a hole into the side of this tote right here. I'm going to have this 2-inch pipe. I'm going to have to cut it much shorter, probably like down here somewhere. That pipe, I'm going to have a 90-degree angle coming out of there. It's going to go into this tote right here, and I'm going to have that plumbed up to the pond pump. So I'll probably have some kind of a hose come out of this, connect up with that 2-inch pipe. It'll go through here, underground, all the way over there, and make its way into that first trash can filter. So just in case you missed my last video, I'll give you guys a look inside this filter right here. So pretty much as you can see, that pipe goes up, it comes in here, and then down there, there's a graded area, right? And I still need to cut another bit of pipe to go down to here. So pretty much all the water that's going to be pumped out of that tote right there will come in through here, get pumped to the bottom of this trash can. I have this plastic grate right here, which is going to separate the filter media from the bottom of that trash can, because I kind of wanted to create a void, because down here, as you can see, I have a 2-inch ball valve. So what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to just hose this all down with pond water, and then all the water and all the gunk will end up at the bottom. At least this is the theory, this is the idea. All the gunk will end up at the bottom, and I can just open this valve and let it all out. And that's kind of like how I plan on cleaning these out without having to like take too much time. So pretty much after the water gets pumped in there, it'll rise up, it'll pass through all the filter media, and once it reaches the level of this drain, it will start going down this drain. From there, it will come out, as you can see. This is connected up to here to this ABS pipe. It'll come out and it'll go down to the next trash can filter. From here, it will rise, the water will rise, and then I'll have another one of these setups right here. I'll have the same exact thing inside this filter. As you can see, I already have the bottom part built, and yeah, then I'll have another output here going down to the bottom of the next trash can filter, and it'll just continue like that until we get to the last trash can. And then over here is where it's going to be a little bit different. I don't know yet exactly how I'm going to do it, but I imagine I'm going to have the output somewhere on the back of this trash can, so probably back there. It'll come over here, go into the ground. I'm going to have to trench a pretty long way along here so that I can put pipe in the ground, and then I'll have a few outlets. So I'll have a T here, probably a T here, and I'll have another probably 90-degree angle right here, and those pipes will just come over the wall. I'll have ball valves on those pipes so that I can control the flow of each one, and I figure I'll probably have like 3 returns going into the pond. So as you can tell, there's still a lot that I have to do, but I just wanted to take a little while to explain that for anyone that's new here, and hopefully that makes sense. And before I continue with connecting up those trash cans, I just want to mention one thing really quick. Once I finally have this thing up and running, there actually are kind of 2 points that I do have slight concerns for leaks. One of them being right here, where this hard line is going to the trash can. In case there's a shift in the ground or some kind of movement with the trash can, we do have a little bit of leeway due to the nature of these uniseals. They are a bit pliable, but I am concerned a little bit about that, and the same thing will go for this hard pipe right there going into this tote right here. But if I do run into any problems with leaks, I think my solution is going to be to replace small parts of those lines with flexible pond hosing. So yeah, right now that's just hard PVC, but if I do experience some kind of a situation where a small leak forms due to those pipes having not much flexibility, I'll just go ahead and replace a couple small sections there with flexible pond hosing, and I think that should solve the problem. When it comes to these trash cans being connected by those diagonal ABS pipes, I think it'll be okay if they move, because the pipes should be able to move like this, because they're just going to be inside those uniseals, and they should have the flexibility to be able to move up and down. So I'm not really so concerned about leaks between the pipes. My guess is that if there is a leak, it'll probably be either here or on that other side like I showed you a second ago. And actually guys, one more thing that I just remembered, you may have noticed that there is this pipe right here. I forget what size, I think this is like a 1/2 inch, or maybe it's a 1/2 inch PVC pipe. That actually goes underground all the way to the bottom drain. That's actually connected up to the bottom drain. And this is to be attached to an air compressor. The top of that bottom drain has an air diffuser, and pretty much that's what that pipe right there is for, just in case you were wondering. So anyways, let's get back to connecting these trash cans together. So if you saw my last video, you may remember that at the end of that video, I accidentally added ABS glue to this side of this 90-degree elbow by mistake. So I'm going to see if I can sand or scrape some of that out with a knife, just so that it's smooth inside there again, and I can re-glue that. All right guys, I'm just going to try to measure where I need to cut this pipe. So it's kind of coming out of there, right here. Okay, so now as you can probably see, this pipe is coming too far out of this trash can, so I'll need to cut that. But I'm wondering if I should glue this pipe before cutting that, maybe. All right, guys, I just need to make sure I do it right this time. I gotta make sure I'm gluing the right side of the pipe and everything. Whoops, too much device. And I mentioned it in my last video, but apparently with ABS glue and ABS pipes, you don't need to use primer. So here we go. Oh shoot, I just spilled. Okay guys, I gotta just take my time and avoid any more accidents. All right guys, so as you could probably tell, that was a complete disaster. I ended up not being able to salvage this 90-degree elbow. This ABS pipe wouldn't fit in there, probably because I didn't get all the dry glue out, is what I'm guessing. And as a result, I ended up kind of ruining this pipe right here. So I'm going to have to cut that off. I can still use this pipe later for the other trash cans, but for this long one right here, I'll have to buy a new one. So I'll pick this back up tomorrow. Okay guys, so we're ready to get working on the pond again. But first, before I do that, as you might be able to tell here, the friendly neighborhood raccoon decided to make a visit to my pool pond last night. So I'm going to get this straightened up first. And also, I just want to make sure that my intake bay is kind of in good working order because I'm going out of town in a couple days. My dad's going to be taking care of all my fish. So I just want to make sure everything's okay before I leave. So this should be a testament to how important it is to have a pond net. You don't know how many times this thing has saved my pond from ultimate destruction. We get herons and raccoons here. I have stakes going all the way around the pond, as well as some pretty heavy-duty clamps. I just need to lift this intake bay back on top of its platform. Looks like it got knocked over. You know, I might as well do a very small water change since I am going to be going out of town. I might as well also clean out the pump while I'm at it. As I'm sure you can probably tell, this isn't the most enjoyable activity right here, which is why I'm trying to make the new pond filter as easy to clean as possible. Holy man. That scared me, guys. My dojo loach is in there. I hate it when he gets in there, guys. It's impossible to get him out. One thing that I am actually a little bit worried about is my dojo loach ending up in that settlement tank. But as long as I keep the water clear enough, it shouldn't really cause a problem. I should be able to get him out of there pretty easily. A lot easier than this. Just check out how black that water is coming out from that intake bay. I gotta do this more often. So as you can see, we drained the pool pond a good, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches, maybe 5 inches. I think that's good enough for now. I'm now going to take my other hose right here, which is at a trickle. It's connected to my inline dechlorinator over here. And I'm just going to put it over here for now. This is the dechlorinator right there. I think this kind of pool pond filtration setup is totally fine as long as you're on top of the maintenance. To be honest, I am not always on top of the maintenance. That's why we kind of end up with situations like this where the water is super murky. So I'm just going to let that hose trickle into the pond all day today, probably overnight, and probably even all day the next day, and tomorrow night as well, probably. And then we'll be at a normal water level again. So now that we're finally done with that, we can get back to working on the filter. So first, of course, we can start off with taking this apart right here, because we got to replace this black ABS pipe right here. All right, got that. And let's see how hard this is going to be to take out. Oh man, it's in there tight. Can I push it out? There we go, guys, we got it. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to use this. All right, guys, so here's the new ABS pipe that I bought. This is the ABS pipe from yesterday, which I attempted to glue and I kind of messed up, but yeah. So I'm just going to use that pipe to measure this new pipe. Okay, and then we should be able to cut it. And if I play my cards right, guys, I don't think I'll have to buy any more ABS pipe for the pond. And then this right here is the old pipe, the one with the dried glue on it. And I'm going to cut this piece out of this pipe right here. This one doesn't have to be as exact as the last piece. I'm just going to sand these down to make sure they're smooth, and then I'm not going to attempt to glue these myself again. I'll get my dad to hopefully come out and help me. So gluing these smaller pipes, you know, it shouldn't be a problem for me. But once I do that big pipe and we're actually connecting them to the trash cans, I'm definitely going to probably need help with that. So might as well have that extra reassurance, you know? Gotta try to do this quick. Before I glue anything else, I actually need to do one more thing. The pipe that's inside this trash can right here is too long, so I actually have to cut that one like in half. Actually, let's just move everything right here for now. And I might have to climb in this trash can to get this one out. This should come right off because I didn't glue that yet. Oh man, this one's gonna be much more difficult than that last one. Okay guys, got the vegetable oil. I'm just gonna put some on that pipe, so hopefully it'll slide out easier. Yeah, that was a tough one. Thank you very much. So the reason I just removed this pipe is pretty much just because it was a little bit too long. I didn't need it to be so long. And also I could use the other half of that pipe for something else. So yeah, I'm pretty much just going to cut it exactly in half. It doesn't have to be like super exact, but I don't know, if I cut it somewhere around the middle, that should be okay. All right guys, so I have this piece here, and basically I'm gonna make this same exact thing that I have here with this pipe. Wanna make sure I get all that grease off before gluing it. All right guys, so now I'm ready to insert this pipe. We're gonna put it in here. Just gonna oil up this uniseal real quick. And now we're going to insert this one right here. So just gonna oil the uniseal and the pipe just like I did with the other one. Okay guys, so we're ready for the next part. I'm going to try to connect these two trash cans like this, connecting 190-degree angle to the next. I'm not going to attempt to do this myself this time. This time I'll have my dad help me because it's very time consuming when I make a mistake. So let's try this. All right, here we go guys. I'm just gonna clean everything off one more time, just make sure there's nothing in those fittings that are going to sabotage me. Already there's like little pieces of dirt and stuff in them, and all I did was move them from one place to another. Stuff's just like a different consistency. Yeah, it's different stuff. Yeah, all right, ready? I'm gonna try to be quick. All right guys, there we go. Thank you, Dad. That was a lot better with some extra hands. Cool. Very nice, very nice. All right guys, so I'm extremely happy with the way that this is coming along. This is pretty much exactly what I envisioned. I'm just gonna put these filters back together real quick, and I'll show you what it looks like after that. All right guys, so now the stuff's back inside the filters. So yeah, I'm very happy with the way things are going. So anyways guys, that's going to be just about it for this video. If you guys did like this video, I'd really appreciate it if you went down there and gave this video a like. That would help me out so much. If you want to see more of my pond filter build progress, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I'll go ahead and put my Instagram right here in case you'd like to follow me there, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Peace.